The next part which I wanted to talk about is the power of anchors. And anchors are something which completely kind of defines our life without even we realizing it. So these are all very, very hidden things. I'll give you some examples. Like, I don't know if any of you have friends, the moment you look at the I mean, suppose you meet the guy, the moment you look at the person, what you think of is beer or going to the bar. So what has happened is that through your various life experiences, each of these individuals have got anchored to certain kind of thoughts, emotions. So look at somebody and think of going and having a beer. You look at somebody and you think, I must run away, and this guy is going to talk something really negative or something like that. Or you go to a temple and you feel at peace, or you go to a forest and you feel at peace. You listen to your music and you feel great. You have a coffee, you feel great. I have certain anchors related to books, smell of books from my childhood, etc. So all these anchors changes our mood. Sometimes somebody's voice could be an anchor. The moment you hear that voice, either that makes you feel tensed or makes you feel happy. So all of us have all these anchors, which are kind of built into our mind. Is very subconscious. We're not always aware of it. So one thing that you could do is create a list of all these anchors. What are these positive anchors? What are the negative anchors? And I have, when I made those lists, I found out something very interesting, that these positive anchors are all very, very simple things, like which could be going for a swim or going for a walk in the forest, being in the nature, listening to some nice music, reading some books, spending some time with certain people, etc., etc. So uh, most of these positive anchors, if you look at today, you might see that most of it is actually possible to do despite the lockdown, despite whatever coronavirus situation is there today. So if you make a list of all these anchors and see how many of those you can actually make it or design it as a part of your life. So once you have a list of your positive anchors and negative anchors, you can actually design your life to a certain degree. 100% is not in our control, but you can then pick up those things. Another very, very interesting thing is, which I haven't put it up on this presentation, is contemplating death. Now, this apparently sounds pretty negative, and especially in today's context. But I once read about contemplating death in one of the books, which was a very interesting eye-opener. So imagine this scenario that you had only 5 days in life. In that case, what would you do? What are the things which are most important to you? In that case, and it has been seen, like in many cases, people who had that short span of life, when they got the time out of hospital, they went and enjoyed the rain. They looked at the trees, they listened to the birds, they went and spoke to some people whom they like, they went and said sorry to some people whom they made unhappy, etc., and things like that. So the moment you put a constraint like that in your life, what happens is you come out and understand what are the things which are most meaningful for you in your life. So contemplating death can help you to find out what are the most meaningful things in your life. So is it that going to Facebook and looking at all those news, is that the most meaningful thing, or looking at the WhatsApp very often, or reading news? The moment you create a kind of simulated time-bound uh, uh, constraint, what happens is you realize what are the things which are most important for you. So you can do that as a simulation experiment and figure out what's most important for you. You can find out your positive anchors and then design your life around that. You can do more of those things, and that will make your life a lot more meaningful. So I have another talk which I did at RSA USA on habits and in the context of cybersecurity. I will not talk about it today, but if you get a chance, please do have a look at it. It talks about how habits are formed, how anchors are formed automatically, subconsciously, and how you can understand those, how you can change a habit, how you can utilize a habit. So the anchors are very, very powerful. You can design your life around these anchors and what are these most important things in your life.